thing Slot's done is he's dialed back the possession. We are still possession dominant team, but not as dominant as we were under Klopp. So it was 57.9, whereas we were consistently between 60 and 65 under Klopp. So that's gone down. However, our overall pass completion as a team has never been higher. It's 86.2% this season, up to winning the league. In the title winning season, we're 2 percentage points higher than the title season. And in the final third, we're 4 percentage points higher, 84% in the final third. And at the same time, we've got the fewest crosses we've ever attempted, with 19.2 per game. So I celebrating wildly here, doing laps. In the title season, we were 23.4 crosses per game. So the four fewer crosses per game. And the other thing that's lowest we've ever seen is there's the number of shots from outside the box. Only 4.5 from outside the box this season. Last season was 7.1. That's up. So you're basically probably taking best part of 50% off that number. So you slightly dial down the possession, but you've got historic levels of control with the best pass completions you've ever seen, and the fewer crosses and fewer shots outside the box, which does mean fewer transitions, say. And then when you have one of the best out of possession teams in the league, we can cover those transitions because we're in a fantastic position to.
This is why you've laid out in numbers why I'm so excited about next season. Because I think if you listen to the players, how they talk about the differences between Klopp and Slot, is that the Klopp had an idea of how to win the ball back, and they were drilled about what to do when they didn't have the ball, and then they were told go on it when they did. Mostly to go and use their own tactical creativity, their skill to go and create chances. But Slot storybooks the game. He storybooks it. So it's if you look at the tactical structures of sports, you look at football up here, basketball's going to be in the middle. Football, because it's a big pitch and there are only 22 players on such a massive pitch, that there's much more chaos and it's harder to constrain. It's harder to decide for a coach what's going to happen at what point. At this end is American football, which is like chess. And American football coaches can literally script what play is going to happen in the next 3 seconds. And the decision-making for players becomes so much narrower. And what Slot has managed to do is, on that continuum of chaos, he has managed to move it from absolute chaos in much closer to the middle towards where basketball is. So we've got set plays. We've got open play set plays, which sounds weird. But in this situation with these players here and the opposition's players here with the ball here, each of those players knows where he wants them to be and what maneuvers that they should be making. So they're constantly rehearsing set plays of open play positions. And the consequence of that is the goal. They see the position here, but they're already planning 5 moves ahead, because from here, their best opportunity is going to be either here, or here. And that's the decision making. That's what makes Mac so important to this team.
Wow.
He knows all of this.
100%.
And they're gradually, each of those players are learning this. Mo is phenomenal. Mo makes more correct decisions than any footballer on the planet. I think that's what makes him brilliant this season. And Mac is right up there with the cognitive ability capacities of as a footballer. So instead of off the cuff looking like how Darwin or Diaz have in the past, or even Mane, to be fair, where they're trying something off the cuff and then players have to react around that, what they're doing is making one of 3 decisions, and dependent on those one of 3 decisions, the other players have one of 3 decisions to make. And so everyone knows where everyone's supposed to be at all times, most of the time, within set thresholds. And what this does is it creates unconscious spacing. So they without having to look, know where there's going to be. And without having had the ball because people think control means possession. Without having the ball the whole time, what they're doing is, when they do have the ball, they're controlling when the opposition might get it.
When we say control, we really mean controlling space, don't we? We're controlling the game because some teams can control the game without even having the ball.
Yeah, I think Klopp was really good at in phases, in periods of time. He was really good at dictating where the opposition had possession, and I think there were short windows in his tenure at Liverpool, and most of the time it was just imposing our will on the opposition and forcing mistakes rather than keeping them in set positions or set areas of the pitch. But what we're doing is we're making sure our door is closed before we then choose which of those three openings to create. So it's constantly leveraging risk against reward the whole time. And we have McAllister, we have Virgil van Dijk, and we have Mohamed Salah, who have slightly different risk reward thresholds, but they're always cognizant of those things.
They're all supremely intelligent players, as you say. Yeah. Bart, do you want to come in on the tactical theme there?
Yeah, no, just to back up what I was saying, we said it numerous times on pods. You'll see certain patterns. It was typically one of them is a forward pass followed by a side, followed by a back, followed by another forward, and it would be from centre, then they play it out,
back
and
through.
Be a runner. Yeah, back through and playing. And you saw that, and it would end with typically Mo picking the ball up and doing the outside of the foot cross to the back post, which is the being runner, right? But so you'd have the three centre mids and normally a centre half playing it on this side. It'd end up with Mo in the right half space to then ping it to the back. But because Diaz or whoever was playing left wing knew that pattern, they knew when to make the run because Mo was going to be in that position. That's how they're getting the ball. And it's just, you saw those forming, and that's why it's a different thing. And there's reasons why, you get apprehension about signing players and the rest of it. But I am truly excited about seeing where this side will go. Because if you think about some of the physical attributes we've spoken about and stopping turnovers, one of the ones is speed, right? You turn around, decent rate acceleration, as Si talks about. Well, we're just about to sign two fullbacks that are excellent at that. Yeah. So that should help us in doing that, which should mean we should be better at then being able to keep the ball in the areas we want to keep it in.
So Si's already mentioned tracking data parts, and obviously we'll remember from Ian Graham's book that, and talking about it at the time, is we were the first exponents of pitch control. And one of the biggest things about pitch control is the ability to players to control the space through their ability to recover and their pace. And I don't think it's any surprise that we're seeing the physical profiles that we are targeting, because let's face it, Wirtz is another elite physical profile here as well. Yeah.
But I mean,
more attacking,
it's more
obviously.
The fullbacks, the fullbacks are adding a physicality, right? That we haven't had for different reasons, right? We've asked Trent to do something different than what he was, right? And Robertson's just got old, so that's fine. But you're basically putting in two fullbacks that we used to have could give us physicality. We used to have a Klopp at the beginning of his tenure, right? So. Yeah, it should be looking forward, but that takes away from what Slot's done this season. He managed to create this with very limited signings, with players that were in and out, not in and out, but learning new methods with limited pre-season, and he managed to get that level of control of space, which I would say the epitome of it was City away, where we won the game, completely told City where they're going to play and won it. And won it on our own terms. We had lower possession and then lower XG.
Absolutely. It was tremendous in February. Yeah, I was watching this. I was watching the season review. I think it was on Sky, the Sky one, and Slot was walking through the key things of the games, and he said he actually pinpointed the Man United game as the moment the penny dropped with him and the players, which was game week 3 of the season, and because he said. In the build-up to the game, that Man United are going to be expecting us to do this. All week they'll have been training us. We're going to play like this. But what we're going to do is we're going to play Zobbo on the left, right? We're not going to play where they're expecting him to play us. And we're going to play Zobbo on the left, and we're going to attack in this way, and they're not going to be ready for it, and we're going to exploit them in these areas. And we absolutely destroyed them in the first half. And by the time United had figured out what had hit them, they were 2-0 down. And they were floundering, and then we won the game growing. I think we declared at 3-0, didn't we? Effectively,
yeah.
But he said that was the moment when the players could see Okay. So maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. What he's telling us will happen. And like some kind of, Nostradamus kind of figure. But yeah, it's amazing how things work out like that sometimes in the bats.
Yeah, 100%. And you do need games like that. As much as people could be respectful, you still need something for them to buy into, right? You could be saying all the right things, but if you don't get the results,
Hmm.
then and you don't get opportunity to play. It's
Yeah.
like I don't think any of us here would say Amarin is a poor coach, right? But
Hmm.
he hasn't got buy-in at United because he's not winning games.
Yeah.
He might be really tactically well, but they're not winning games, so therefore the
He's
players
not made the
can't buy
team. He's
into
not
it.
made the team better than the sum of its parts, which
That's what I'm saying. Where Slot did it
Slot did that almost instantly.
almost instantly. I mean, that game you're talking about, we converted through it at nearly 230% away
Yeah.
from home at Old Trafford. That's
Yeah.
incredible for a third game.
Yeah. And the players can see the process as the coach told them it was going to happen, and then they can see the outcome at the end of it, and they get the outcome at the end of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very it's just unfortunate we lost the next game in the Forest, didn't we? But yeah, by the by,
Yeah.
no. But I think you're right. They need pivotal moments to go. I see what you're saying now. We can get results by doing that, and I'll do it.
So,
Good side.
we're going to come on the slot. We lost you, say.
No, I just didn't know what question you're asking.
Oh no, I thought we thought you were going to come in on that point there, that slot conversation.
Oh no! He said I did see it. It's tremendous. I think it doesn't even need our commentary over that. I thought he was giving a bit too much away. If anything, I thought it was fascinating, and he is very happy to chat.
Yeah, that's a Dutch trait, I think, generally, isn't it? They're happy to.
It seems to be that way.
Yeah.
My feeling was that I love that how he imposed our tactical plan on oppositions by tweaking stuff all the time. But I thought it was fascinating how he, towards the end of that, talked about how the opposition were there was a girl interviewing him that was on Sky, which was actually a really good interview, said how they were basically saying, here's the credit for the season to Slot because of how well he changed the team tactically in game, and particularly at half time. And he said, well, that's because after the first half of the season, everybody set up in a completely different way than they played against anybody else. So I had to change it all the time. After every half time, I had to change what we were doing, which adds credence to what Bart's was saying about our best period was always the second half. It was the first half of the second half, which makes a ton of sense because that's before the opposition that then get to react. So it's Slot outmaneuvering, so that's another thing that makes me really interested about what's going to happen for next year, because he just seems like a real tactical savant.
He didn't lose the tactics very often this season, did he?
I think there were 3 occasions, but one, he put on one of the greatest masterclasses of tactical coaching that I've seen that I can remember, when Robbo got sent off. And
Fulham, yeah.
Fulham at home.
Yeah.
Fulham at home. Yeah.
5 different formations, playing Grab at centre back. Like, we haven't even talked about Grab playing centre back, which is remarkable, but unbelievable. The things that he chose to do in that game, it blew my mind knowing everything about Liverpool players. So I don't know how the opposition coped.
Yeah. Brian at home,
and we should have won the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have beaten Fulham with 10 men. Absolutely.
Should have beaten Fulham with 10 men, which is bonkers, right? Considering we were 2-0 down. But I'd say the other thing with that United game that I thought was, it's not that important, but I think he proved to the media, he came out afterwards and said to Sky, this is how I beat United.
Yeah.
I think that got the media on side. Like, do you know what? He might not have cared, but the media from that moment on were like, Jesus Christ, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. And the pressure was just gone. There was nothing on him because he's basically explained exactly what he did. He just smashed United at home. And they were like, yeah, okay, fair enough. And then he was fine for the rest of the season. So I think it was a really important game for players and media for Slot. He did well.